As you know, the Minding Your Business podcast is brought to you by the Binge podcast network. www.onabinge.com is the move you need to make. Myself and Dominic Lawson, he is the host of the Startup Life podcast, as well as him and his wife are the owners of Owls LLC here in Memphis. And we've come together, we brought our superpowers together to help other podcasters. So whether you're a new podcaster or you're an existing podcaster, we love to be able to work with you and help grow your audience and help meet the goals that you set out for your particular podcast. So you need to get with us, www.onabinge.com, and there'll be contact info for you to be able to connect your podcast that you own and have, of course, your rights to. But it's good to unite with a team. You know, Superman is great, but he's even better when he's got a team with him, a Batman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman and everybody else. So there's nothing wrong with getting together with the super friends and really making a mark on things. And so I invite you to do that at the Binge Podcast Network. Of course, the podcast is always brought to you by Brooks Brothers Consulting. Was started in June 2013. My brother Philip and I. Leadership and Business Development Solutions is the name of that game. So whether you need business plan writing for a document to help be your guide as you drive your business, or you've got a new business model, if you are in the process of developing or looking to develop sales strategy, or you need assistance with your particular strategy as you look for new target markets and new ways to connect with people, your brand, your product, your service, you need to get with us. That's brooksbrothersconsulting.com is the move you need to make with that. brooksbrothersconsulting.com, and you can get with us and hire us. We're working with financial institutions as well to connect them from a compliance standpoint to their low and moderate income communities for CRA credits, as well as work with seniors as well as youth to help edify the assessment area communities that the banks do business in. So we're holding banks accountable to that. We're providing them value, and we're just working that all the way around. So we're here, episode number 77. It's called Surviving Are You? Surviving Are You is the title of this particular show. So without any further ado, let's make it happen.
What we do here is go back.
I'm your host, Chair Prawn. This is the Minding Your Business podcast, coming to you again on Friday, January the 11th. A little earlier than normal because I've got some pretty good meetings scheduled at the time when I normally record this podcast, which is normally at noon Central Time on Fridays. But now I'm coming to you a little bit earlier, so you may see it pop up in your notifications. Speaking of notifications, make sure that you spend some time going to Apple Podcast and Google and some of those places. Give us a 5-star positive rating, as well as leave a positive comment if you enjoy the show. That helps just grow the audience and that sort of thing. We're over 31,000 downloads in a little over a year and a half, which is just phenomenal. It's just a testament to you all as Minding Your Business Nation, to all the supporters and whatnot of this particular podcast. So thank you all so much. Thank you to everybody on Facebook Live, everybody that's on Spreaker. Shout out to everybody. What's up, homie? Deverett Watson with Credible Concepts. Those are your credit solutions. We talked about this numerous times in previous episodes about watching and boosting your credit scores. It's very important. It's becoming more important every day. Sword, Brittany Thornton, what's going on? Frat, CN, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Jimmy, Will, what's going on? Jew, what's up, man? What's going on? My guy Greg Bernard, what's going on, brother? Deborah Taylor, how you doing? Ms. Marshall, that's royalty right there. I call Ms. Marshall royalty. We won't even say Ms. Marshall's name. When you're royalty like that, you call her royalty, you call her Miss Marshall. B. Harris, what's going on? Freight Train. Frat, good brother right there, man. been in the real estate market for probably longer than he even want to admit. Berlon, what's going on, brother? I got you this afternoon, man. I'm going to give you a call. Tamika, how you doing? So thank y'all again so much for joining. Again, I won't be before you long today on today's podcast. Got a lot to get to. Surviving Are You? So, of course, now that y'all are done with Robert Sylvester, at least for now, for some of y'all that were just finding out from the documentary of what all things that he had going on for the last 25 years. So while y'all been bumping and grinding and y'all been believing that y'all could fly and y'all were his angel and y'all are the world's greatest and y'all were enjoying the fiesta and y'all were stepping in the name of love and everything that y'all been doing. And then y'all found out last weekend that some of that stuff, who you had in mind wasn't necessarily what he had in mind. And sometimes that happens with our artists. They sing from a perspective that you think, because the words that they're using, you think they're singing from your perspective, and they just may not be. So anyway, now that y'all survived Robert Sylvester, and whatever's going to happen with that situation is going to happen, regardless of your Facebook post or your back and forth and your friending and unfriending and all that different stuff. At the end of the day, whatever happens with Robert Sylvester is what's going to happen. And we talked about that on last podcast and how we need to watch the Robert Sylvesters and the Robertas that are in our families. So I guess I'm only talking to the microphone today. Philip Ashley Ricks, what's going on, brother? So anyway, surviving Are You? So how are you surviving right now? I'll tell you how government workers are. So the federal government is still shut down. I believe this is day 22? So we're quickly approaching what will be the longest government shutdown in United States history, at least in the modern era. And today, on a Friday, there were roughly 800,000 federal workers on a number of different levels and fronts and around the country who normally would get paid today, who did not get paid. Now imagine going to work and you've been working for the last 20 some odd days knowing that you're not going to get paid. Now I'm gonna let that sit right there for a second. I'm almost ready to give that a moment of silence. I'm going to give that a moment of silence. You've been working 20 something odd days and the government is shut down because the Democrats and the Republicans once again cannot get along. So what else is new? And President Donald J. Trump has decided that he is not going to sign the new budget for 2019 because it does not include money for a wall on the southern border of the United States. Forget about the northern border or any other border, but just the southern border of the United States. He's wanting billions of dollars for a wall. We've got people in this country giving the GoFundMe accounts. Now, they're not giving GoFundMe to help the federal workers or to help veterans. No. We're not going to do. We're too big of patriots for that. We're patriots. We build walls. We don't tear down walls. No. We're not going to tear down a wall. We're going to build a wall. We forgot all about Berlin and Great Wall of China and the walls that are either still erect or that have been torn down as symbols of freedom. We're a democracy here in America. So we're going to build walls. Everybody in the country that's not Native American is an immigrant here. But, I was born here. Forget about my mom and dad and great-grandmother and forget about the people in the past. I was born here, so I'm an American. And I'm such a patriot. I love the flag. I hate when football players are protesting during the national anthem. But I'm a patriot. So here's what I'll do. I'll build a wall that they can dig under and float around and even fly over, since they all come in on planes, right? When you talk about illegal aliens, they fly over. But I'm going to build a wall that's going to keep them from coming in. And because I don't get my way, I'm going to shut the government down and impact the lives of Americans. I think it was the president that said that the government workers, I think at first he said that they all support him and he talks to them every day and they say shut it down and get it done. But then he turns around and says that in the same speech that they're all Democrats. Then the president says, well, I didn't really mean that Mexico was going to pay for the wall. But at first, the neighbor was going to pay for it. So we're going to build something in there. It's just like in your neighborhood, if you just go build something in your yard. We joked about this on Facebook. I'm just going to build something in my yard, and I'm going to get my neighbor to pay for it. I'm going to build a new pool, and I'm going to get my neighbor to pay for it. Because it's going to be close to the fence between mine and his house. So he's going to pay for it, for my pool that I want. And that's what we're going to do today. All right? So do y'all see how crazy some of this sounds? And see, listen, we fact check every president. I don't care what they look like in the mirror. Whether it's President Donald J. Trump, whether it's President Barack H. Obama, whether it's pick a George Bush, whether it's President Ronald Reagan, go all the way back. We fact check them all. Okay? So no one's exempt from that. So we're not speaking from a partisan standpoint. We're just speaking from common sense business. So you got 800,000 workers that didn't get paid today. People that are at work right now, working hard, working diligently, most of them. And they're not getting paid. So here's the thing. What are we going to do? You know, that's going to be the thing. What are we going to do? We're getting into the election cycle. It's going to be coming up again, that the national elections. We just had the election last year. And there's some turnover that has taken place in many of the states at the Senate and the congressional level. And we've got local elections here in Memphis. So what are we going to do? So the president has said, like I say, he took his ball and went home, and he's waiting on money for a wall. Should we give him the wall? Do you hold stance? Has anybody had any conversation with Nancy Pelosi and any of the folks? I know they're having great fun meeting with the president to discuss opening up the government and what they're going to do about his demands for this wall. You've got trash building up in parks. You got all kinds of things going on. But the big thing is you've got families that are impacted when government workers aren't paid. And it opens up an opportunity, quite frankly, for people to begin looking at what they have coming in their household and the streams of revenue and how they rely on those. You know, if you're sitting right now and you're in America and you're relying on one stream of revenue, we're going to need to have a conversation. We need to have a conversation if that's the case. Because America is there's no loyalty in America anymore. And that's been gone for some time, if it ever existed, or existed for some people and not for others. But we need to start getting education and financial education really out and have people look at other alternatives. There's other alternatives to just getting a paycheck from an entity. Because, you know, you don't want to be in a situation where that one stream is cut off and then that's it. You go from worst to first, or from first to worst. So there's opportunity there. But my main point with this is we've got to get the government back open, and we've got to make sure we put people in place that are righteous enough to think about the lives of people and who come from that life. You know, when you're sitting in Washington and you're still getting paid as a senator or a congressman or a congresswoman, then you're not really faced with the same type of obstacles that your everyday person is dealing with. Okay, so we've got to make sure it's time out for sitting around and, well this and well that. We've got to be a part of the process. We got to be a part of our means of production. And one way we do that is you've got to be a part of the political process, which means we've got to take control of who we put in office. All right, sitting around and, well, they've already decided it and they've already done this. Well, you could take that approach, but then you just go get what you're going to get. The reason they try to keep you from participating in the process is because it does matter. If it didn't matter, they wouldn't try to keep you out. So the only reason people close doors is to keep you from coming in. All right. Keep you from looking in and keep you from coming in. So let's support government workers. Let's support all of each other, whether you're a government worker or not. There are a lot of people struggling who even did get paid. But imagine you at work right now. And some of y'all listen to this podcast. Y'all sitting in cubicles now. You're sitting in offices. And you may be getting paid, but imagine being there and not getting paid. That's something else. My guy, Ms. Marshall, I'm a federal government employee. Our agency was funded and not impacted by this shutdown. However, I feel that all impacted should stay home until they figure this out. That's when the royalty speaks. I agree. Yep, I definitely agree. And Ms. Marshall's right. I mean, if you're not getting paid, what we doing? What we talking about? And it's not all about money, but in this case it is. You're going to work. You're agreeing, that you're going to get paid for, compensated for the work that you're doing. And when you're not, I mean, what are we talking about then? Greg Bernard says voter suppression is real. Yeah, damn right it's real. And it goes on in every state all the time. Scott Kinney, I agree. All people needs multiple income streams. The shutdown is a perfect example of why everyone needs a plan B. If you count solely on one source of income and something interrupts that source, where does that leave you and your family? Great question, Scott. Very good question, and my point as well. See, a lot of these things have gotten people kind of off the sidelines, whether it's things at the White House and then even beyond. It's been good for us in a lot of ways because it's gotten us out of this ho-hum comfort kind of thing where all we cared about is our own life and putting our own garage door down at the end of the day. And now we see the world beyond just social media and globally that way. We see how everything's interconnected and what it really means to be a part of the process. If anyone believed that, then I got something else for them to buy. That's right, Ms. Marshall. Yeah, if they believe some of that stuff coming out of Washington, then me and Ms. Marshall got some things we could sell. Going back, Gray said this country was founded on the belief that we have free speech and that we can speak out and criticize the government. Yeah, so it says. But at the end of the day, y'all, we've got to support government workers, and we need to reach out to senators, to congressmen, to congresswomen, and let them know that we're not pleased with this. We put you in office. Let's get these things done. And this is not towards one side. This is all of them. I don't care, blue, red, elephant, rat, snake, whatever animal that they want to be, bird. Get together and let's stop the foolishness because lives are impacted. And then for those that have lives impacted, to Scott's point and to my point, let's begin working on ways to help people have alternatives to just relying on one stream of resource coming into their household. Okay? So that's my thing as far as with the government shutdown. And hopefully next week's podcast episode, we'll be talking about the government being back open. But for now, it is closed, and we definitely feel for the government workers. Email me, ron@themybpodcast.com for any communication. If you're a government worker, and you're in need of assistance, wherever you are, if you're listening to this podcast, I want to work with some folks to help get you resources. As y'all know, I've got ties in the banking industry and some other financial resource industry. So you're not on the island. If you're struggling, reach out to me. Again, Ron at themybpodcast.com, and want to link you to some true, authentic resources. Okay? Ray Baby, what's going on? Josh, how you doing, brother? Good show as always. Talk Back Live. Make sure y'all are checking that out, as well as Josh has the sports podcast too, and the name escapes me, but if you can post that, Josh, in the comments, that'd be great. My guy, Justice Spencer, the reported individuals that are affected are 800K federal workers. What is absent in that equation are tens of thousands of federally contracted individuals that are also greatly impacted. That will begin to trickle into the economy, thus the private sector. And Justin brings up a good point that I actually was going to make that I didn't make, so I'm glad he reminded me. Beyond just the workers, you have people that are in business with the government, whether they have various government contracts. Those aren't being paid. And those are thousands of contracts around the country and even around the world of Americans who have American-based businesses who are affected by this shutdown. And so imagine, when it's one thing to imagine that you're a worker and not getting paid today. Now imagine you're a business owner and you've got 20 employees and you're not getting paid today, and your employees aren't getting paid today. And your employees may look at you, but they also may look at the fact that they're not getting paid. They may not look at the government. They're going to look at you. So if you've been a business owner, I've been in this position on a more micro level, but when you're in a position where you're responsible for the income stream for people that work for you, man, that's a totally different feeling, y'all. It's one thing when you're a man and woman and you come in the house and people know and they can point to the government and you're just not getting paid. But it's hard when you're that business owner because your employees don't always look at anybody else other than you as the owner. So it's something to really keep on your radar screen for those folks who also not only are looking to feed themselves, and these are either self-employed or business owners. And on this podcast we make a distinction between business owner and entrepreneur, because it's a lot of folks entrepreneurs, and then it's different when you're a business owner. Those are two different things. Now, a business owner is an entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur is not always a business owner. Entrepreneur could just be the unemployment guy, the guy that's unemployed that's sitting at home playing Nintendo. He or she can call themselves entrepreneurs. But business owner is completely different. So when you're a business owner and your government contract is not being paid, that's a problem. So Justin, thank you so much, man, for sharing that. Not to jump around too much, but Josh put the sports podcast, Deliberation Sports podcast. Make sure that you check that out on the various podcast networks, as well as Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh. That's the radio show here in Memphis. Make sure that you're checking that out. Look those up and connect with Josh, Joshua Midget. They have a great show. They talk about a number of things, man. They have a lot of fun, so you really enjoy it. So thank you so much again, Justin, man, for sharing that extra tidbit, because I actually forgot about that, the business tie-in with government contracts. All right. So as we're speaking about government and we're on that topic, let me segue for me. So I announced on last week that I'm going to be a candidate for Memphis City Council District 2 here in Memphis, Tennessee. District 2 covers kind of East Memphis, the Cordova suburb that's now incorporated into Memphis, and then a part of East Memphis that kind of trickles around the expressway 240, on the east side of 240 and the east side of 385. And so it's a very important district. I'm very excited for the feedback and the support that I've received. You can go to ronbrooksjr.com. That's ronbrooksjr.com. You can get more information. And I'll be talking on this podcast as we go along more about my platform and things like that. But I'm looking to bring common sense business practice to the city council with the focus on innovation, family values, and leadership. We need adult leadership more now than ever. We need to focus in on family values, which is not just about marriage or having kids or things like that, but just families in general, families and how we connect. We need to be able to have that. And so we're looking to bring that back to government, as well as fiscal budget responsibility and accountability to how funds are being utilized and what direction they're going, that they make the most impact on the most amount of people positively. And so I'm bringing that, my over 17 years of experience in the financial sector as well as in the real estate sectors, I think makes me a very qualified candidate. And of course, next Saturday I'll be 38 years old. Family man, Memphis guy, and so we're ready to do that. And so you'll see more about that platform as we go along, but go to ronbrooksjr.com. You can learn more about that. All right, so Berlon, I'm gonna call you, man. You got my inbox. Sir the boys, how you doing? Shout out to those on Facebook Live. So couple of things I want to get to before we close out this podcast here on the Minding Your Business podcast, episode 77. I want to share with you guys a little something about competition. When I played sports, when I played basketball, I was a marginal talent. When you look at holistically, I was a good player. Think in the lights of a combination of, say, a Tony Allen in the NBA or a Gary Payton. So if you were to combine those two, that was kind of my game when I played. I was a fiery guy, very competitive. What I learned, though, is I wasn't competing against the guy guarding me or the guy I was guarding. I was competing against me. So I was competing against Ron every time I went out there. It wasn't about that. Because I was a marginal talent, and I played, 1 year. I got into very few games in college. And then I had the chance to go to pro camp. So I really maximized my talent and my abilities. And I love the game for that. Always will. But one of the things I want to transition this to business, because one of the things that helped me when I played basketball is I would go into a game, and this is why I love Gary Payton so much, man, the glove. He was good at trash talking. He's known as one of the best trash talkers ever, big time trash talker. And one of the things that he would do is he used trash talking as a way to get under people's skin, because people, when they get emotional, they become self-centered, right? They start focusing in on themselves as an individual versus the whole. And they'll also focus in on you. And so I picked up that same trait when I was playing, whether it's pick up, wherever it was, is if I could get under a guy's skin, especially if he was more talented than me, right? Then what that allowed me to do, that brings an equilibrium, right? Because he's so competitive on me that he forgets his game plan. He forgets what his coach is telling him, what the other four players are doing, because he's so honed in on me. Now, that doesn't work for everybody. I played against a few guys that didn't work. They could keep a holistic focus no matter what I was saying or doing. But I used to say some crazy stuff, y'all. Like Gary Payton, as I mentioned, I used to talk about people's mama. Don't let your girlfriend be at the game. Right? Brother, sister. There's very few things that was off limits outside of an illness or a death or, something like that. Being disabled, things like those things, were off limits. Just about everything else was. All right? And I played against a slew of great, talented guys, man, in my time there in the kind of late 90s. You talk about high school going to college. But one of the things, that I learned was, when you're so focused on competing, you forget sometimes your principles, because you become so focused on the person in front of you that you think you're competing against, right? And so it's good to have a friendly spirited kind of competition in the sense of it, wanting to see how far you could push the envelope and kind of push yourself and drive towards success. But don't get so worried about competition, because that exposes insecurity. When I played, one of the main things I wanted to do, or reasons that I would trash talk, was I wanted to expose insecurity. When you're from the neighborhood like that, you want to get a guy to expose his insecurities. We all got them, right? But I want him to expose his, because when he exposed his, I could exploit it, right? Because once I got him worried about me and what I'm gonna say, now all of a sudden he tries to push me. It's right in front of the ref. He gets a technical. Now all of a sudden he dribbles the ball off his foot, or he shoots the ball without surveying the rest of the floor. We get the rebound, we're off and gone. Or I get the rebound and off and gone. Or I score on him and I say something to him. Now his confidence is shaky because he's so focused on me. In business, don't focus so much on your competition. Know what they're doing. Like, I want to know what we got a scouting report on every team. I want to know what guys were doing. But my focus was on me, what I need to do to be successful in the game. I had to come with the right amount of energy. I had to understand our game plan. I had to understand where we might have an advantage, where we could mitigate a disadvantage. Those are the things, the strategy piece that I worked on, and pushing the envelope was driven by me. Not by the man in front of me, not by the man guarding me, not by the man that I'm guarding. And I translate that into business, that I see a lot of folks, because they're short on resources. They come from the neighborhood and they're always concerned about competing, competition. I love people that love to compete, especially in business, because those are the people that I end up getting. Those are the people that I end up beating, are the overly competitive, because at some point their insecurities go be on full display. It's just like it might as well be on the stream, might as well be on Netflix. Because when your insecurities get on my Netflix and I stream it, I got you. I got you. The toughest people to go against are the people that are able to, outside of the noise. So like I told you in basketball, the people that didn't listen to what the hell I was saying and focused in on the game and not Ron and the crazy stuff Ron's saying, those were the people that were hardest to play against. But the guys that, get bent out of shape by me talking about the baby mother, they get bent out of shape because their mom smile at me at the game and I wave at her and I say, man, look, man, see, your mom love me already. we ain't even tipped off. Your mom already love me. If he's worried about that and not worried about his game plan, I got him. Don't let the game get you. Kill the competition. Everybody's not out to get you. There's plenty of resources out here. And you have a lane. And yes, you can switch lanes. You got your own HOV lane. The person driving next to you ain't got nothing to do with you. No matter how fast or slow they going, it has nothing to do with you. You got your lane. You build out your lane. And then as you evolve and you expand, you switch lanes till you have the whole expressway. So take that with you. And my last thing before I close out the podcast is this. It's along the same theme of competition. And when I learned from a coach 23 years ago, I had a coach. As a matter of fact, he just celebrated a birthday. But I had a coach that was very impactful for me. And when I came out of the neighborhood and I ended up in a suburban school, that was a difficult kind of transition for me. And I had a coach tell me, he said, look, you got to learn to play quick and not fast. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? That's what I'm thinking. 15-year-old me, right? So this is going back to 1996. So you got 15-year-old Champron, and you got a coach, and he's telling me that I've got to learn to play quick and not fast. I was fast, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. But over time, I learned exactly what he meant. Fast is not under control. So I can get the ball and I can get from one baseline to the other. Think of a basketball court. I can get from one baseline to the other quick. Running without the ball or with the dribble. Didn't matter. I can get there quick. Or fast, let me say that. I can get there fast. But quick is under control. Disciplined. Still has speed. But when I learned to play quick, I learned to get down the court, survey, see what's going on, where players are lined up, where my player is supposed to be. So as a point guard, you're responsible for where everybody is on the court. You lead the defense, and you're responsible for initiating offense. Same just like you are as a business owner. You're the point guard. You're responsible for initiating offense and leading the defense. It's no different. But here's the thing. When I learned to play under control and quick, I became a much better player. When I was just getting the ball fast, coming down, yeah, I had some success at times if I could beat everybody down the floor. But when the other guy was just as good as me or better, and the other team was just as well coached, if not better than ours, that changed. You got to be quick. I had to be decisive. I had to be able to change speeds. I couldn't just be helter-skelter, balls to the wall, up and down the floor. Throwing the ball in the stands. Hitting guys in the face with the ball. Blowing layups. Because I'm going so fast. Shooting crazy shots. That's what happens sometimes with some of us in business. We come down, we're moving so fast. We're trying to be so fast. We got to get to it. We come down, we throw the ball over the goal. You try to make a no-look pass, and you hit the guy selling popcorn in the third row. Some of us do that in business with our personal lives. So I share that story with you because I didn't understand that as a knucklehead 15-year-old. I didn't understand that. I understand that now. I do. I understand that now, and I apply that to my personal and professional life. So learn to be quick. Quick is you're able to survey, understand. So when I came down with the ball as I got into my junior and senior year, I could come down with the ball and I could survey. I could see, who's running, who's ducking to the basket, who's coming to screen. Are we in secondary break? Where's the defense lined up? I can get the ball back at the top of the key. I can survey. I can see they're in a 2-3 zone. They're in a 1-3-1. They're playing boxing one. Shout out Coach Tippett at White Station. They want a boxing one. They want a trap at the top of the key. What are they doing? When I'm fast with the ball, I don't give a damn what they're doing. I'm just coming down and I'm looking at the goal, or I'm looking to see who's open. Helter-skelter. But that didn't lead to success. You know why? Because I'm turning the ball over. Every time I get an assist, I'm throwing it in the stands 2 times. Can't win that way. And you won't win that way in business. Turn the ball over, constantly missing shots, not having guys or girls in the right place. It doesn't work. So I learned what he meant and I applied that to my life beyond basketball. Because basketball ends. Go ahead and tell your kid now. Even if you get the fortune to be able to play in the NBA or play professional overseas, whatever. Basketball ends. You leave it, it leaves you. One of them two happen. Or both at the same time. Y'all leave each other. And then you got the rest of your life. So I relate this back to business, that learn to go quick. Be decisive, but be able to change pace. Sometimes you got to move with speed. Other times you need to slow down and kind of survey. Look at your market. Look at your target market. Who are you reaching? I don't have all the answers, y'all. I'm just sharing with you what I know. That's what this podcast is about. I'm not theory. I'm not your academic guy, right? I only talk about things that I've done and that I've seen done. So, you won't hear me come on here telling you about something that, I done read or somebody told me. I'm talking about things that I've observed or that I've done, mistakes that I've made, joys that I've had. And I'm just telling you, Learn to be quick. I understand the opportunities there. You want to be able to seize it, but sometimes all money is not good money, right? All opportunity is not good opportunity. Take a step back, survey, look at what you got, and then make a decisive move. Okay? So I hope that helps somebody on today. Thank you so much, man, for joining me here on episode number 77, the Minding Your Business podcast. This was Surviving Are You? Are you surviving? Reach out to a government worker this weekend. A lot of you have them in your family. You may be a government worker. You may have government contracts in your business. Okay? Write your senator, write your congressman, pick up the phone, call their office, tell them stop playing and let's get things done. Or we're going to fire you come next election and we're going to put our own person in there that will get things done. That's how you have the power of the citizen. Not on Facebook. Not arguing back and forth on who you go block on Facebook and all that. At the end of the day, are you going to be quick, or are you just going to be fast? This is Champ Ron, the Minding Your Business podcast. Subscribe, listen to us on Apple, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, all those different places where you can catch your podcast content. Shout out to my guy John Best. We're talking basketball today, man. My guy John Best, back in the day when I was young, boy. Woo. Boy, put in work. Brandy, what's going on? Elliot, the Maine sales, Maine t-shirts. That's .com is the move you still need to make. Maine t-shirt, M-A-N-E. Y'all don't add that Y in there when y'all talking Maine. All right. Yeah, that's counterfeit. So if you see M-A-Y-N-E, that's counterfeit, man. Don't even, no. Matter of fact, report that to the government too while they shut down. M-A-N-E t-shirts.com. That's what you do, man. Shout out to my guy Elliot. Listen, thank y'all, man. I've got to roll. I've got other meetings and things to get to. Champ Ron, the Minding Your Business podcast. Thank y'all so much for checking me out. And have a great weekend. Be your very best. And if I can be a resource, connect with me. Peace.